In the north of Spain and some of southwestern France lays the heart of Basque country, home to one of the oldest cultures in all of Europe. A culture that's fiercely proud, fiercely protective, and built around food. Within Basque country lays the city of San Sebastian, a humble town with just under 200,000 people. And this place is not just a postcard beach destination. It's a holy ground for chefs and cooks all over the world. And today we're going to talk about one of its most unique and delicious offerings. Well, a bunch of them. So here's the thing, in the US, when you hear the term bar food, you probably think of like, cheeseburgers, soggy nachos, French fries, that sort of thing. Sure, comforting, but forgettable. In Basque country, when it comes to drinking and eating, specifically drinking and eating together, things are a lot different. If you were to ask any cook or chef, I would be willing to bet my holographic Charizard that San Sebastian is super high up, if not at the tip top of their travel wish list, if they haven't been already. I was lucky enough to travel to San Sebastian with my then girlfriend, now wife, and we had an amazing time. Now, it's probably pretty obvious that I'm not Basque.
What?
I'm not an expert, I'm just an admirer.
What the f?
But lucky for us, I happen to know an expert. Well, not personally, but yeah. Marty Buckley literally wrote the book on Basque country and Pintxos. So we're gonna reference her work in this video today. I learned a lot from these books, they're super cool. I'll leave some links if you wanna pick them up. So we're talking about Basque country. It's a region in Spain, there are a lot of cities dotted in it. One of the most popular ones is San Sebastian. It boasts, I believe, the second highest number of Michelin-starred restaurants in the world, just behind Kyoto in Japan. But the real magic of the place is how food runs through everyday life. Which brings us to Pintxos. Think of them like the Basque cousin of Tapas. To summarize Buckley's words, they're one perfect bite, usually stacked on bread or stabbed with a toothpick, eaten standing up as part of a bar hopping ritual. From Pintxo bars to sort of these fraternal cooking clubs that these old dudes go to, food is everywhere. People care, man. They care about the ingredients, they care about where their food comes from, and most importantly, they care about cooking. Pretty cool. Walking into a Pintxo bar in San Sebastian felt like ripping open a pack of Crazy Bones as a little kid, right? Pure surprise. You don't know what you're gonna get. One bite might be the best you've ever had. One might be just solid, the other somewhere in between. But I've never had a Pintxo that I hated, which is kind of crazy. And that's the magic. They are the perfectly engineered bar food. One bite, gourmet, designed to be eaten with a drink in your hand, conversation, buzzing, and trays of them kind of scattered across the top of the bar like cute, chaotic, beautiful art galleries. So according to Buckley, Pintxos are rarely, if ever, eaten at home. But we're gonna do it anyway. This is gonna be simple, it's gonna be easy, and it's gonna be a great way to bring a little bit of San Sebastian, or Donastia as the locals call it, to your kitchen. Our first Pintxo is Gilda, or Gilda, the anchovy, pepper, and olive skewer. Now, lots of people like to say this was the first Pintxo ever, dating back to around the 1920s. The ingredients are super simple. We got an anchovy, a pepper, and an olive, all on a skewer. I know, sounds extremely underwhelming. I thought so too. But paired together, especially with a good drizzle of great Spanish olive oil, it's a magical combination. It just works. The beauty here is in the simplicity, right? The Basques respect seasonality and the ingredients so much that they don't overcomplicate things. One bite and you'll see why this became one of the city's signature bar snacks, or Pintxos. It only takes 3 ingredients to make this Pintxo. We got the piparra, or guindia peppers. These are super popular. If Basque cuisine had a mascot, it might be this pepper. Then there's the manzanilla olive, just your basic Spanish green olive. And if you can, I highly recommend buying your olives with the pits still inside. Pitted olives can get kind of squishy and lose their integrity with time, so I prefer to buy mine with the seed in if possible. These are Cantabrian anchovies. They're touted as some of the best on the planet. These are fished from the Cantabrian Sea, which hugs the Basque Spanish coast and part of southwestern France. They're prized because they're caught at peak season, then hand-cured for months, giving them a uniquely rich, delicate flavor. So these are the toothpicks that are preferred here. You can see one side is pointed and the other is dull. About 4 inches, I would say, something like that. And you can easily pick these up online. I'll leave a link for you below if you want. Once the olives are pitted, cut the peppers into 2 pieces so that you have a chunk and a curl. Start with our olive, a chunk, a curl, a chovy, another chunk, another curl, and the final olive. And that's literally all it takes. Just rinse and repeat with the remaining ingredients and you'll have a fat stack of one of, if not the most popular Pintxo to ever exist. We'll come back to these later. The Basque people have been making cider long before it was an alternative beer craze here in the US. And these guys do it right. It's much drier than some of the sweeter varieties we'll find in other parts of Europe and in the States as well. Now, cider in the Basque Country isn't just a drink, it's kind of a way of life. They have these big orchards. On those orchards are cider houses. In the cider houses are massive barrels of cider. It's crazy. There's this spout, you kind of like twist it off, and then you kind of hold your cup down and you want to break the stream on your glass to create this kind of like aeration. And the food at the cider houses, rip. We were served a lot of delicious things. It was actually one of the most memorable parts of the trip. If you want a video on that, I'm happy to make one. I've been thinking about it for a long time. Let me know in the comments. I digress. Chorizo in Spain. Chorizo is I can't say that without laughing. Chorizo, okay. This is a cured sausage. It's not like Mexican chorizo, which is fresh. This is a very common pantry staple in Spain. You're gonna see it everywhere. And we're gonna make a very interesting pintxo today that kind of is an homage to Basque cider houses and cider traditions in the Basque country. It's very simple, it's meaty, and I really dig it. And I think you will too. This is Basque cider. It's actually gotten pretty popular the past couple years. I wouldn't be surprised if you could find it in a local wine shop. I know I did, that's where I got this. These corks are unique and you do not want to uncork it fully. There are little holes at the bottom of the cork that allow it to stream out like it might out the barrel at a cider house. I think we did it. Cold pan. Chorizo in. Now we're just gonna add our cider, which should come up to like the shoulders of the chorizo. Now we're gonna go on high heat, bring this thing to a boil and reduce it down. All right, you can see how that's kind of like a syrup now. It's like sec, dry. We're gonna take these out. That's gold. We're gonna save that and use that. Noticeably, these chorizo are a little skinnier than the ones you might find at the store or online, but this is what I remember eating in San Sebastian. You can totally cut these into little chunks, but with these long boys, I like to cut them in thirds. Chorizo. All right, let's talk bread. Most of the pintxos that I experienced in San Sebastian were served either on toothpicks or bread or a mixture thereof. I'm gonna slice a bunch of bread up for this pintxo and the remaining bread pintxos in the video. Make them about this size. Take a handful of these and swipe them in that chorizo fat. I mean, come on, it'd be a shame to waste this. This is apple cider chorizo fat, and look at that color. All right, sausage stabbed up. Let's move on to the next one. Ensaladilla de chaca, or crab salad. And yes, the TX in the Basque language is actually pronounced ch. The story of this pintxo starts in the cold coastal waters off of the Basque country. Basically, king crab has always been expensive, right? So when surimi, or imitation crab, hit the market in the 1970s, bars jumped all over it. This pintxo shows up something that I love about Basque food. A pintxo can be made out of anything, and so long as it's delicious, we're gonna be all right. For this one, we're actually gonna toast the bread, which is gonna add a nice contrast. This is crab stick, a processed seafood product made from whitefish, usually pollock, not crab, that's flavored and shaped to mimic crab meat. It's kind of like string cheese, but fish. Peel the crab stick into little strands like so, and then mince it up real nice. I made a few hard-boiled eggs off camera. We're just gonna take the whites off of 2 of them, chop them up real nice. Then we're gonna remove those yolks and actually use our box grater to make cute little strands, which works as an awesome garnish for this pintxo. So there's 3 eggs total. We're gonna grate the whites of 1 because we already chopped up the other 2. Then grate all the yolks, separating the grated yolks and the whites. All right, we're going in with all of our crab stick, the chopped egg white, bunch of mayo, a little pinch of kosher. We'll taste as we go. Just a little splash of white wine vinegar. Little tang, little punch. Now we're just gonna mix that up. Just gonna put a little drizzle of olive oil for good measure. This is Basque food after all. Now all we gotta do is scoop some of that crab mixture onto our toasted bread. Then garnish with some of that grated egg yolk, egg white, and then optionally a little cute piece of parsley with some cooked shrimp. Again, the shrimpies are completely optional, but a nice little retro touch according to Buckley. The Basque country might be famous for its seafood, but they also love their boeuf over there. And that holy grail of beef is called a chuleta. It's a hyper-aged, yellow fat-capped ribeye that's often charred hot and fast over a grill and left basically raw on the inside. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I dig it, but I can see how others might be a little squeamish towards it, whatever. And this Pintxo, the Solomillo, is essentially the Chuleta's cousin, but built for the bar. It's a little chunk of tenderloin left rare in the middle, served on bread with some green peppers on top. And I know, this might seem like a cop-out, right? Bread on steak with some pepper. Like, why don't you just eat a slider? But this is rustic, yet refined, sort of like primal, but also elegant, and somehow captures the punch from a legendary steak dinner in like 1-2 bites. And it doesn't fill you up too much, so you can keep on drinking with your pals. Love that. These are Cubanelle peppers, which are sweet, a little spicy, and perfect for this Pintxo. Use whatever green sweet peps you can get your hands on, but maybe not green peppers in this case, green bell peppers. We want them charred and soft, so I just popped them under the broiler for a bit, then I'm going to steam them off in this bowl here with some saran wrap. While those steam, let's talk boeuf. This is beef tenderloin that I actually popped in the fridge for about 4 hours before shooting this, just to make it a little easier to slice. It's mostly lean with a little bit of marbling, but most importantly, it's tender enough to bite through on a piece of bread. In a heavy cast iron, we're going to add some neutral oil, get that thing ripping hot, then lay in our steak. It's really important that the pan's super hot because all we're doing is searing this steak here on one side, flipping it, searing it on the other, and leaving it rare on the inside. It should be deeply brown on the outside and basically rare on the inside, kind of like searing tuna. While the beef rests, let's get going on the peps. The peppers by now are pretty soft, almost squishy to the touch, so we're just going to cut them down the center like so, remove the seeds, and then leave that charred skin on. I know, usually we take the charred skin off of seared peppers, but it adds some smokiness and almost like a pleasant slight bitterness to the bite. To build, all you do is rest your little chunkatry on the bread and top it with some of those peppers. Alright, let's get going on our fifth and final Pintxo. Look, we couldn't make a video without featuring jamón in one way or another, right? That legendary Spanish ham, that cured, delicious Iberico, that Serrano. Everyone knows Spanish ham. This Pintxo keeps it simple. Salty ham, creamy goat cheese, and a little pop of that sun-dried tomato. It's not an ancient tradition, it's just straight up delicious. It's fancy enough to impress you, but also casual enough to kind of just crush standing up at the bar. And honestly, it kind of feels like the Basque answer to ham and cheese, just dressed up for a night out. Let me show you what I mean. For this one, if you can, try to find a goat cheese with the rind still on. It just adds to the texture and really the look of this Pintxo. This is white sugar, which we're going to dust on top of our goat cheese and do something special to it. The sugar helps add a beautiful color and sort of like a caramely sweetness to the goat cheese, which plays really, really nice. And these goat cheese rounds were a little XL compared to the ones I had in San Sebastian, so I'm just going to have them. Beautiful! What goes nice with goat cheese? Sun-dried tomatoes. Very 70s. So we got a couple different kinds of ham here. We have jamón serrano, which is technically a lower tier, but it's still delicious. Peer into my ham window. And then we have the Iberico here. Look how dark that is. Beautiful. You see that oil and that fat coming off it. It's taking everything out of me not to munch this right now. Like a little Altoid strip. Down with a little untoasted baguette. A beautiful sun-dried tomato just drooling with oil. Piece of our goat cheese, nice and bruleed. Skewer that down the center. Tell me that thing don't look like a sailboat. Ready to sail the 7 seas, my dogs. Okay, so we've made all of our Pintxos. We just gotta finish them and then give them a taste ski. For the Gilda, we're just gonna hit it with some olive oil. These things are literally dripping with olive oil at the bars. Then just some crunchy textured sea salt for the boeuf. Ta-da! All the Pintxos are done. There's only one thing left to do. It's TTT. Time to taste. On God. I think we gotta start with the OG, man. This bad boy. Look at that. The Gilda. Yum. Freaking yum, dude. I'm gonna have to... That's the OG for a reason. Bright, pickly, briny, but meaty and full of umami from that anchovy. I cannot stress enough, these Cantabrian anchovies, so much less fishy and kind of like strong tasting. A lot of salinity, minimal bones, and again, meaty, chewy, chunky, delicious and satisfying. Great with a cider or a beer. Almost forgot, man. I don't know if you can see that. The cork actually comes out just a little bit, so you can do this. You just want to pour a tiny little bit. Yum. Gosh dang, this is bringing me back. All right, next up, the ensaladilla. Never thought I'd be calling crab stick beautiful, but yeah, it is. It's quite pretty, especially with the little retro garnish on top. I love that. All right, salud. Toasting the bread goes such a long way with this because it's so creamy, a little sweet. It's just a really good cold like fish salad. Sounds weird when I'm bragging about how the Basque country and how San Sebastian is such a food capital and a food paradise, and I'm using crab stick here, but this combo's elite. That in a lobster roll. Oh. You know what, before we go too meaty, come sail with me. Again, kind of a retro combo pairing with the sun-dried tomatoes and the goat cheese, but man, it works. And that jamon's just like a extra sort of like piece of luxury. Is it necessary? Definitely adds to it. Yeah, it is necessary. Ham and cheese, Basque style. I don't know why I do that. I treat it like mouthwash, but it's so good. Okay, on to the meat lords. Before we hit the lord, let's hit the prince. Chorizo braised in Basque cider. Simple, I mean, sausage on bread, right? I'm gonna de-toothpicketize it. Look how red that is. It's crazy. This stuff will stain your life. Be careful if you're wearing a white shirt. Jesus, I'm gonna release gas. Not that kind, the stove. It's just a really good cured pork sausage, and the main flavor is paprika. Unlike Mexican chorizo, which has a lot of different spices going on, which I also love, this is a little more one-noted, but not like in a bad way, in like a beautifully simple way. Yeah. Okay, Meat King time. Solo Mio, the Basque aged beef with the green pepper, an homage to the chuleta. I'm such a beef enjoyer, it's insane. Similar, but different, a little more tender, and a little more, man, let's be real, the bread's just a vessel for the beef. These are all great. And talk about an awesome, different party for your friends or family, whether it be a holiday or a birthday or just a barbecue or something. One-biters all around. These things are meant to be eaten while you're talking and hanging out and drinking. It's basically my favorite thing to do. This is what that food embodies, and this is why I love it so much and why I wanted to talk about it and share it with y'all. So these were some of my favorites in San Sebastian, but these are only a few examples. You know, there's varieties in all of this. You can add cheese to that. You can take the ham away and add some beef to that. There's a lot of different combos, mixing and matching that different bars do. And there's always different pinchos being made and experimented with. And the hits usually become classics and you'll see them spread across other bars. That being said, why don't we try making our own pincho? Yeah, let's make one. I really wanted to include this ingredient in one way or another because I love them so much. These are called boquerones, vinegar cured anchovies. Look how beautiful white flesh that is. It's like the size of a chovy, by the way. We're gonna go down with a little piece of bread here. Then we're gonna hit it with some Iberico ham because we didn't use any. Some of the Gilda pepper. We're gonna sneak an olive in there. Then double chovy action for that saltiness and vinegar punch. Yeah. I don't know, what do we call this thing? Mario and Luigi, Yin and Yang, Starsky and Hutch, Coffee and Cream, Peanut Butter and Jelly, SpongeBob and Patrick, Wanda and Cosmo. I don't know, let me know in the comments below. We gotta name this thing. This thing's pretty wild, but it actually makes sense if you think about it. Pork and shellfish, some pickly things. I don't know, could be good. Yum. No, yeah, that worked. Great jaw exercise too, perfect for mewing training. I got jamon in the grill. Nifty. Thanks so much for watching until the end here, guys. I hope you dug the video. I love San Sebastian. I'd love to go back. I hope that you guys try making pinchos at home. They're not tapas, a little different. Give them a go. All the links to sort of the more odd ingredients, if I can, will be provided below. Also, same goes for the gear. The Patreon, aka the grocery fund, is the best way to support the channel. It literally helps me do everything. Come on into the Discord and say what's good. It's a fun little community we got over there. Lots of people who love to cook and plenty of food nerds. So if you fit that bill, come introduce yourself. Also, got some new omnivorous MSG shirts. This one's in white. We also have it in black, and there's a cap, a hat, adjustable for all dome sizes. We don't discriminate. That's all I got for you this time. So until next we meet. Eskerrik asko. I think that means thank you in Basque.